But Illinois farmers say, hold on a sec. This summer's drought has been a perfect storm of trouble, as 70% of Illinois corn is short on water. Now, even though the city has yet to approve money, volunteers will slide on over later this month to start construction. In fact, by 2016, pension spending could dwarf education spending if lawmakers fail to act on a deal next week. Now, temperatures in Carbondale were a bit warmer than usual today. According to the National Weather Service, the daily average for November is about 58 degrees, generally making hoodies like this a pretty good idea. However, today's temperatures and attire did not come without a catch. Winds got up to 35 miles per hour, leaving students and teachers alike blown away.
Our community wants to know what happened to Troy Logsdon.
Logsdon was a loving husband, doting father of 3, owner of this successful sand and gravel business in Beardstown.
He did a lot of things for a lot of people.
November 24th, 2010. Logsdon went to this bar. Around 11:45, he and his wife Sandra left together. Despite hundreds of interviews,
you know, it was the night before Thanksgiving. You would think somebody would have been around to hear something, see something.
Not one person remembers seeing Logsdon actually leave the parking lot. 45 minutes later, less than 12 blocks away, his body discovered halfway in a ditch.
To just believe something is one thing. To know something is another.
Cass County Coroner Wyatt Sager was a close friend of Logsdon's. He asked Illinois State Police to help with the investigation.
It's the lack of physical evidence from time to time that has hampered things.
The autopsy, though, couldn't be clearer. Not natural or an accident, Logsdon died from blunt force trauma to the head.
He was murdered.
Before Troy Logsdon died, he, along with his family, lived here. Everyone, including his wife Sandra, has now moved away. We couldn't reach her, but Sager believes she holds the missing piece to this puzzle.
That can't be filled. It can't be filled regardless, but it could be healed if someone out there would just come forward and tell us what happened.
It's not a cold case right now. It's still, you know, very warm case to us.
As for those close to Logsdon, well, they're left struggling with regrets, unanswered questions, and heavy hearts.
If I could tell Troy one thing, sorry. I would just tell him I was really sorry. I would tell him I was sorry that I didn't do more before this ever happened.
In Beardstown, Chris Slaby, ABC News Channel 20. When trains go through Eureka, traffic stops, giving volunteers from the local Elk Lodge a chance to help residents of tornado-ravaged Joplin, whether through a spare chains collection.
The plan is when that train comes through and those gates go down, I'll get down there and work my way back up the street.
Or donations of material goods.
Well, we got a great amount of clothing here.
Ashley Moore organized the Sunday afternoon grassroots effort after watching a YouTube video of Joplin residents enduring the devastating tornado. Set up at the intersection of West First and North Central, preferred goods include non-perishable food and hygiene products.
Well, doesn't seem to want to zip it. There it is.
Clothes and toys for kids.
It is heartwarming to see the citizens of Eureka and the surrounding counties come out in such great force to donate, and we've raised tons of money already, more than I could ever imagine.
Now, this isn't the only grassroots effort to have sprung up in our region. This is the first weekend after the Joplin tornado.
I hope it gets a lot more busier than this.
On Bobolink Drive in Florissant, Katie Diger and her cousin set up a lemonade stand to raise money for the United Way. Their goal is to raise $100, but they'll need some more customers to reach that figure. Whether it's reached or not, Katie says all that matters is helping the people of Joplin.
I care about them a lot because I feel bad for them. They don't have like a safe place to stay at.
They have nothing, so we want to give them everything back that they lost.
In Eureka, Chris Slaby.
Make the girls busy and raise a bunch of money.
News Channel 5. The Good Samaritan House is a nonprofit that helps underprivileged families all over Jackson County. This year, the house is on pace to serve around 29,000 meals to people who can't afford to eat and house numerous homeless every night. Now, it's going to be tougher for Good Samaritan to offer its services.
We're getting squeezed from both ends. We're getting squeezed on funds, and then we're getting squeezed on our numbers going up.
Good Samaritan is owed more than $11,000 by the state of Illinois. But unfortunately, it's not the only one in such a predicament. According to this website, Deadbeat, which is an effort to offer bill transparency from the Illinois Comptroller's Office, there are thousands of businesses and agencies waiting to be paid in Illinois, totaling nearly $5 billion.
The only way, really, we can prioritize it, because it's extremely subjective. We try to pay as they come in. We try to pay the oldest bills first and get those, so that we don't have people waiting forever for these things.
But is this really the case? On September 15th, Illinois Governor Pat Quinn's office pushed through a $285,000 settlement to a former Chicago alderman. This just 2 weeks after the lawsuit was settled. In the meantime, Illinois owes nearly $3 million in 70 similar cases, some nearly a year old. According to the Associated Press, nearly 9 out of 10 Illinois human service organizations have experienced either spending cuts or delayed payments over the past year. Woodard Wellness Group noticed a 2-month delay in payments from HealthLink Insurance about 3 years ago. Now it takes an average of 5 months for Woodard to be reimbursed.
We're like anybody else. We've got bills to pay, we've got payroll to meet, we've got taxes to pay, and it's kind of ironic. The state still wants us to pay their taxes, but they don't want to pay us what services we've rendered.
The irony continues with the Illinois prompt payment statute. If the state fails to reimburse a medical bill within 30 to 60 days, Illinois must pay 9% interest. Last year, the state paid $27 million in such interest alone.
We're being told, well, we don't want to go any further in debt, but they're already in debt to the medical providers because they borrowed the money off of our backs and expect us just to wait for it. And as I said, paying us 9% when they could go out and borrow it for 3 or 4%, have the debt paid down to us, and it wouldn't be any different than what they're paying now, except they'd be saving a lot in interest.
Feel better?
Fantastic.